Hey everyone, Poolshark here. Today I'm going to be talking about the fall patch that just released for Battlefield 1. I think I'm just going to hit the highlights though, just because of the fact that there's certain things that I think will affect gameplay, and those will be the most important to talk about. So first off, I'm going to talk about the general fixes that I think will do the most overall work to the game. Rentable servers. People have been asking for that for a while. Now they'll actually be able to dig in and see exactly what is entailed in that. Squad XP boosts were added into the battle pack pool. The quit button has been fixed and it now shows up at end of round at all times. There are, quote, several CPU and DX12 optimizations as well as fixes for several DX12 and client crashes. So I don't know what all involved in that, but hopefully that'll fix some of the people's issues. You can now customize your soldier loadout from the main menu. Here's one of the bigger ones that I like. The squad leader. If you are now in a squad and request an order from the squad leader, that squad leader has 60 seconds to answer your order or you become the squad leader. This is going to benefit those people who really like team play. Fixed several erroneous collision volumes on all maps, aka invisible walls. This is a huge fix that I haven't really seen many people talk about, but this is one of the more important ones because there were quite a few invisible walls. And one of the biggest changes I've seen go into a patch within a month is the change to Suez Canal map. The old way that was laid out, the A, B, and C flags are now marked B, C, and D flags. The initial spawn point for the British Empire is now the A flag, and then the initial spawn point for the Ottoman Empire is now the E flag. Now, while this map won't change drastically in terms of how it plays, it does give each side an opportunity to get to the other side and take a flag to make it not so lopsided as it is now. Not entirely sure how this is going to work out. It could work, it might not. I don't know. We'll see how the community gravitates to it and plays it, and it's kind of one of those things that we'll just watch and see. Now onto weapons. It seems like support class is really the biggest impact to this balance pass. However, stationary weapons like AA, they now do less damage on airplanes and plane parts, which will be great for pilots because they've all been complaining that just AA rips them apart. And I agree, although I'm not a great pilot. But I have seen good pilots and they've been complaining about it, so I'm going to defer to their judgment on that one. And the fact that the AA truck has less range now, that should help because those things were just dominating. I think one of the more important changes is what they did to the mortars. The mortars now require a little bit of time after being deployed before they're fully accurate, and the quicker you fire, the more inaccurate they become. This makes it so that just you can't rapid fire the mortars anymore and just essentially hitting the same spot over and over again no matter how fast you fire, which is great because the mortars were super accurate the way they were initially. And they also reduced the damage radius for the airburst mortars, so now they just have to land closer in order to do the full 65 damage that an airburst does. I think this is a pretty solid balance pass. They didn't over nerf them, however they did make it so rapid fire is not going to be effective anymore, so that in effect on its own is going to be a nerf. So not touching the damage, I don't know, I think that's one of the better changes that they could have done to the mortars without obliterating them to be useless. Another thing they did with weapons is they seemed to try to make the support class more viable. They gave LMG increased bullet suppression at medium range. They also increased the aimed accuracy of support weapons, added bipods to the low weight variant of LMGs, and now the low weight machine guns gain accuracy faster during firing. I think this is a good start on how to make support weapons actually viable. I don't know if it's going to be enough just because of the fact that the damage of them and the rate of fire I don't think combine well when you have the SMGs and everything else. And regardless of your opinion on suppression, that addition is going to help support. It's not going to be, probably not going to be favorable just because a lot of people don't like suppression, but adding in increased suppression at medium range is going to help support class, so that could be a good change. It might not. We'll see. However, I fully expect people to complain more about suppression now. A lot of people were unaware of this, but if you shoot an AT gun at a tank at a bad angle, it will ricochet. This wasn't the most visible effect in the world, so in the patch notes they have said that they have made it more visible to actually see when something ricochets off of a vehicle. And lastly, I'll touch on operations. They did a pretty big balance to this mode, and it kind of needed it, so I'll get into exactly what this did. First off, in the 64-player variant, they increased the attacker's maximum tickets from 150 to 250. I think that alone is going to make it super, super difficult for the defenders, although it was needed because most operations I play on, you never get past the first map. So now, when you kill a retreating defender, you will get 3 tickets back as opposed to before it was only 2. And when successfully capturing a sector, you get, instead of 30 tickets back, you get 50. Coupled with the slightly reduced time it takes to capture flags, I think it's going to be a lot more even of a game now, with the super increase of tickets you get back after each sector and the decreased time it takes to take a flag. This is really going to help the attacking side and hopefully throw in a little bit more balance to just make it an overall fun experience for the attackers. On the 40-player side, they did something similar all around. Instead of 150 tickets, it's now 200. The same thing, 2 to 3 tickets for killing a retreating defender. However, they didn't increase the amount of tickets gained when taking a sector. And they did slightly reduce the time it takes to capture flags. I'm assuming it's the same value on both 60 and 40-player operations. There are a bunch, and I mean a bunch, of other changes. However, I feel these are going to be the most noticeable, so I figured I'd make a quick video highlighting on what I thought would be, I don't know, some of the more important patch notes. There are a lot of other tweaks, especially with vehicles. There's a lot of plane stuff. I don't touch planes, so I don't even think I could even offer up an opinion that would be valid. But I will link the patch notes in the description below if you haven't had a chance to see them yet. I highly suggest going to look at them because a month post-launch, they have fixed a lot of things. So if that doesn't instill any confidence in what they have planned for this game, I don't know what will. And I think you should go read them because they're good and have words and stuff. And everyone likes words. So yeah, after you play a little bit, let me know what you think of the patch. I know I'm going to get some time in it today, actually try to put some of the stuff through the rounds and see how balanced everything is now. This is a little bit of a longer video, which is why it's not on 140 characters on Twitter. I figured this deserved a little bit more detail than a tweet could give me. Hope you enjoy the video. Take it easy.